Would you like to meet someone truly unique? Well, our guest today has washed his hands on 6 continents, studied the failures and frustrations of public hygiene firsthand, and turned that experience into a mission to reshape how the world thinks about hand washing. In this conversation, we explore the journey behind that passion, what inspired the movement, and how one person's conviction about clean hands is starting to influence the wider cleaning and Jansan industry. Pleased to welcome first-time guest Tim Cromley. Tim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot, Jeff. I appreciate you having me on your podcast.
You are the clean hands man. I don't
Right.
know anyone else with that name.
I don't either.
Well, we're going to get to know you a bit and not just about you, but about how your journey can influence others and maybe make a nice positive change. But since you're a first-time guest, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm married for 28 years to my awesome wife, Amy. And I always say that with Amy, I outkicked my coverage. She's an amazing lady. And somehow she continues to be by my side in everything I do. We have two sons. Jacob is 20 and Aiden is 18. And just really blessed to have our two sons. We again, like I said, reside in Fort Collins, Colorado. We've been here. I've been here since about junior high, so it's home.
Now, from what you just said, you're going to be showing this video program to your wife and to your sons.
Right. Most definitely. They're big fans of this. As a matter of fact, they're my best sounding boards. As I and come up with ideas. I have to give my wife a lot of credit. She is a great listener and also has like great insight. But at times, she also has really good questions, and that's the task on me is to try to get those answered. And so I'm really blessed that way. And then my sons, obviously, from their standpoint, they're a lot more hip and in the know than I am.
Hmm.
But what they also offer is that they get a whole different insight set that I don't always get. And so even as I publish different things, they come to me and say, was that really the right angle? Or you should have given that guy a break maybe on that particular hand washing, or um, it's good insight. It's good backup for me, and it's a great way to keep me on target.
Side now, let's talk about your mission, your goals. Tell us your story. How did you become the clean hands man, and what motivates your mission?
Right. So I started thinking about this about 20 years ago, just to be frank. Like you said, I've washed my hands on 6 continents. And maybe one of these days I'll make it to Antarctica and get a good hand wash in. But the in doing that, I've asked the question repeatedly, what is this contract we have, this social contract we have that public hand washing can be substandard and we're okay with it? And I get that it's kind of a secondary thought maybe sometimes for people, but I've asked that question kind of over and over to myself, and I've been in some great places. I've stayed in amazing places and been to wonderful places to eat, things like that. But when you go in and you are in a compromised state, I don't understand why we continue as a society to say, all right, that's okay. I'll continue to pay, $50 for that steak, even though I'm going to go in and get something on my hands that's probably going to get me sick, get my wife sick, and get my boys sick for the next, week or two. And we still continue to do that. And it's not a knock on anyone. Actually, I don't think we have a behavior issue. I think we actually have a design issue. And so that's what I hope as an organization that Clean Hands Man can actually begin to start with some awareness and some education. And then obviously we don't do it alone. Clean Hands Man is certainly not going to be able to do it alone. We can begin to shed some light on this issue.
Yeah, 6 continents. I was going to ask which one you've missed. I assumed it was going to be Antarctica, and maybe
Yeah,
one
it
day you'll
has.
get there.
Yeah.
But thinking about what you've seen in all your travels and all these hand washing experiences that you've engaged in and witnessed, what are the common compromises you've seen? And why
Right.
should we know about that as an industry?
My my criteria are five simple items. Number one is the a touch-free faucet. Number two is touch-free soap. Number three is actually warm water. I've been in facilities that they plumb in warm water, and I've stood and waited for the warm water, and they actually just run cold water. And actually, I've looked underneath sinks, and they're just running cold water in. The fourth item is to actually have a hygienic way to dry your hands. And then the fifth item is a touch-free exit. I think that you should be able to leave a restroom without having to touch the door handle. Um, Again, part of the social contract is, well, I can't really do that for you. I'll just leave a trash can by the door. I think that's crazy. It's like me telling you, Jeff, I want to sell you this car, and it's never going to be able to be aligned. Um, Give me $40,000. And you say, yeah, that's no problem. I'm going to put tires on it every 3 months. I'm going to learn how to drive just a little bit to the left because I know it's not aligned very well. And that's ridiculous. You would never do that. It's the same way whenever we take a hand towel and throw it in the trash can by the door. What if that actually was a way, if there was a way to open that door without us having to touch the door handle? There is.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on the principles of what you just said, but they're not seeing it. Like I was at a
Right,
restaurant yesterday, went into the restroom, washed my hands. There's no soap,
right.
none. It was one of those automatic dispensers, and it would make the noise and nothing would come out. I had to go to a different restroom because it was several restrooms and they were for either gender and to get the soap. But I find
Right,
that a lot that some things just don't work, and nothing worse than a door handle that there's no foot thing or
right.
yeah. So I don't know what the solution is to all that.
Yeah, you're
Failure of
exactly right.
equipment.
I've yet to run into anyone who says like, no, I don't really. I prefer to actually have fecal matter on my hands when I eat my chips and salsa,
Mm.
or something along those lines. I mean, I've yet to run into someone like that. They actually, people say like, oh yeah, even as I was at the ISSA show, every person that is to a person said, I agree with you 100%. And it was interesting and my time at ISSA was really just to learn. I'm trying to learn this industry. I'm trying to understand what it is going to take. And every person agreed. But what became apparent in those conversations was there needs to be a bridge between the different segments. As I started talking with, say, like the soap guys, they said, well, it's because they didn't install the soap the right way, and I mean, and I totally get that. I totally understand. There are facility managers that have that they're part of the solution here too, and so. It is a real challenge, and I think though that a bridge or a cohesive way to bring that all together, I think that's actually very useful, and it also gives manufacturers the opportunity to get the right fixtures in. It gives supply companies the opportunity to have good supplies in, and also use some of their new technology that is talking about supply levels or helping show supply levels. So this actually is a way to bring all of this together.
And really, those watching the program now might be thinking, we're talking about washing your hands, which is simple. You need water, some soap, you scrub, you rinse, you dry. Whether you
Right,
dry, air dry, or use a towel, use a hand dryer, whatever it is. It's such a simple thing, Tim. It's what are we missing? Why are we talking about this and making such a big deal out of it?
right. So I have actually shot over 130 videos. I've washed my hands from California, all the way to the Eiffel Tower, actually all the way to Germany. And so what I've discovered is a lot of times they're all of the elements are there, but maybe they don't work. So, as an example, when I was in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, I went and washed my hands at a few places. That's just because that's what I do. And you'll see a video coming out here in a few weeks for New York, New York. I went in, washed my hands, and I walked in. I was like, okay, it's a touch-free exit. I can see that already. I can see the touch-free fixtures. Those towels hanging out, I think they'll do the job. And I reached for the soap, and it didn't work. And so, that's the fall down. And so I had to reach over to the other sink, and that's what one of my sons was like, "Oh, give him a break, that you got soap, you just had to reach at another sink." But if that was the only sink in the facility, I would have been out of soap, just like you were yesterday. So that's the concept. So I believe that there's a way to bring this all together. I think that it's what I call clean hands certified, and I believe that we can make that happen. I think certainly it's going to take the efforts of manufacturers, distributors, facilities managers. This industry is a really talented industry, and so I'm certain that it come together. I was encouraged by that during my trip to the ISSA show.
Back to my picking on the soap dispenser that didn't work. Whenever I go into a restroom, Tim, and I see like a line of sinks, like you mentioned, you had to go to a different one. I expect that. Isn't that kind of sad that I know
That
I
is,
expect that something's not going to work. It could be the water's not turning on. You're like moving your hands all over, or there's no soap. So
yeah,
thank you for what you're doing because maybe this awareness will help the
yeah.
entire
I
industry.
have a video that's a really actually it's I try a little bit of humor in my videos, but this one
Good.
actually ends up being kind of sad, and that is the A terminal at Denver International Airport. They had this beautiful retrofit that they did, and it has some really nice like brushed nickel fixtures, and it's great. A couple unfortunate things though, if you go in there in the morning, there's so much light shining in that it doesn't actually none of the fixtures work. Unfortunately, it also I'm sorry, the soap fixtures, those actually don't even work. So they've actually gone ahead and mounted hand pumps to get some foam soap. And so again, they don't expect it to work either. The airport up in at Newark, there's an all-gender airport, all-gender restroom at Newark Airport, and online everyone's like, "Oh, you got to go to this restroom. You got to go to this restroom." So I did. I went there and washed my hands there. Unfortunately, it has the very same fixture that does not work. And there's a tag on it that says this will be fixed in 48 hours. I could tell by how torn and everything that was. That has probably been there since they installed it. And again, then they mounted a little battery powered thing on the wall that you could actually get some soap from.
Mhm.
So these are the compromises that I think we can do better with. I'm quite certain we can do better. It's not that anyone's trying to make this a bad experience. It's just if we can have some cohesion to bring it together, I think we can do quite a bit better.
So let's do this. Let's talk about your wish list. What do you, Tim, want to see the industry do? People watching the program, companies, organizations. What can they all do to work with you to make a difference?
Right. That's a great question. I have my 2026 plans include an index that I'm going to publish about hand washing. It will include surveys within the industry, surveys for the public. It'll also include profiles of places that are close to getting it right. One of those will actually be the Louisville Airport. Ironically, that was my 100th hand wash, and I actually got everything to work all at once. Of my 100 times, that was the very first time everything actually worked. So I went to another restroom just to confirm that that was right, and it did. It worked. And so I plan to interview them and ask them like, what is it that you've made as a priority for that to work? Maybe when I get there, nothing's going to work, but at least at that time it did. And so I want to try to, with this index, help people understand that there's an awareness for this. The public is also very much aware of this. You saw the playbook that Torque just published on their just their facilities playbook, and I think they did a great job on that. They really identified, especially people who have some issues. I know the one gentleman with PTSD. There's a whole series of those. I've even had comments on some of my videos that one person said, I actually have like a real physical problem with this, and so. They did a great job. Torque did a really good job on that playbook. And I think this can also open up the scope for just a much better baseline for us to get started as as public facilities. My wish list, my plans, I'm going to be asking for sponsors for my index. I've been at this for over 30 years. I know what these publishing things take, and so I'll be doing those. We'll be doing videos of the different places. We'll be doing, like I said, surveys. There'll also be some profiles of manufacturers and like what they're doing. I think it's actually really cool, like Georgia Pacific's Colo that they're working on, where that they've introduced that helps you understand and see what monitoring levels looks like. I think that can continue to be understood by even by the public. That like, wow, every time I go in there, I get a good handful of soap, or I get the water's working, or the towel level is just fine. And so I want the public to actually get used to being treated well in these facilities. It's a hygiene issue. I think the public can get used to that. So that's kind of my where I'm looking to head with this.
Okay, so if others want to get in touch with you, work with you, tell us how they can find more information.
Right. Cleanhandsman.com. And then also info at cleanhandsman.com is where that we can be in contact. I've contacted a few companies so far, began to start making my presentations here in just after the holidays. And that index, I think, is actually a spark to begin the conversation. There's a few other things that I have planned. I do plan to do a few builds based on manufacturers' participation, actually either like initial or new builds or retrofits for facilities that actually end up meeting the Clean Hand certification. We'll introduce Clean Hand certification towards the end of next year. I have a technical team actually working on that right now to what that will look like, how you can become a Clean Hand certified location. And so this all takes time, and so I'm just trying to take it all at once. If I had my way, it would all happen, tomorrow afternoon. But we'll take time and get it done right.
All right, Tim. Well, good talking to you. And when you finally make it to Antarctica and wash your hands there, I hope you find warm water, and I expect a selfie. Get a selfie and
Yeah,
send it out.
I'll do
Prove
that.
it. Prove it that you were there.